Monster is the signature roller coaster at Adventureland. This Gerstlauer Infinity coaster does a little bit of everything. Negative G's, positive G's, laterals, and hang time. And it does each of those things really well. That is why I think it's the best coaster in all of Iowa, and I will explain why in this review. After adding a trio of coasters in the 1990s, Adventureland had not added a new coaster in 2 decades. They were long overdue. So for the 2016 season, the park added Monster. This would replace the River Rapids. Despite the name, this was actually the park's log flume. It opened with the park back in 1974, and it was a fan favorite, but it had rising maintenance costs. So it was removed after the 2015 season, making space for Monster. Monster was purposely designed to work around the park's pre-existing sky ride. This was another one of Adventureland's earliest attractions. Monster's dive loop, vertical loop, and airtime hill were all strategically placed around the sky ride, so when you rode the ladder, you got some incredible views of the coaster cycling, at least through the 2021 season. At the end of that year, the park's original owners sold the property to Palace Entertainment. This was widely believed to be due to the fatal accident on the park's Raging River Rapids ride that very same season. Palace Entertainment had removed the sky rides from a few of their parks, so they unsurprisingly did the exact same thing with Adventureland's. While you no longer can ride directly through Monster, the ride still makes one heck of an impression. It is the park's tallest coaster, and since it's located in the middle of the park, you can walk all around it. By day, the electric green track is flashy, but this ride becomes an absolute spectacle at night. The coaster was the first to feature an innovative lighting package from KCL Engineering. Lights mounted to the track are capable of changing colors, and they can even be synchronized to follow the train as it completes the course. In my most recent trip, Monster was only used in the green package, but it still looked amazing. The ride was glowing against the night sky. There is not much in terms of theming though. You have a few dinosaur statues on the ground, but it's very easy to miss them unless you're specifically looking for them. I honestly have no clue why they're even there. What's really shocking is that this coaster does not even have a true entrance sign, which is pretty surprising for a ride of its status, especially since several smaller attractions of this park have large signs. Then the queue is just some green tarps overhead, and it leads to a plain brick station. I do like the look of the trains though. They have this goofy green goblin in front, with his menacing claws reaching for the track. Now the biggest con with this coaster by far is its capacity. As with many Infinity coasters, the trains are super short. Each train sees a max of 8 riders, as there are just 2 rows of 4. The park owns 3 trains, but they typically run 2 at a time. The crew usually has the next train ready to go once the prior one hits the brakes. The issue is just the low number of people who can ride it at once. So this often has the longest wait in the park. Most days, it hovers around the 30 to 45 minute mark, but it can reach the 60 to 90 minute mark in busy days, particularly summer weekends. What are the best ways to avoid a long wait with this coaster? My best advice is to head there immediately after the park opens. While a lot of people head there early, it was just a 15 to 20 minute wait during the first half hour on a summer Saturday for us. With a lot of coasters, the queue dies down at night, but Monster still had a sizable queue for us at night. That lighting package was drawing people in, but as long as you're in line before close, you are allowed to ride, so that's a good way to get an extra lap without wasting precious park time, and you get to see that lighting package on ride, which again is really cool. The other tip is to consider riding solo. Even if you're in a small group, consider splitting up. There's no single rider line per se, but in our visit, the crew was constantly calling for single riders from the standby queue to fill in the empty seats. This would happen roughly every other train. We were able to take turns bypassing a 30-minute wait because no one ahead of us wanted to separate. This coaster is also included in the park's Speedy Pass Skip the Line system, but it is very pricey. For the all-day options, it is only included in the highest tier, which typically costs around $100 per person. But you do get near immediate boarding, and when your time is ready, you go directly to the station, often boarding the next train. Monster is also available as a single shot, but it's extremely expensive as well. It is often priced higher than the individual lightning lanes at the Disney parks. On the day we were at Adventureland, Monster single shots cost $30 per person per ride. That was almost as expensive as the lowest tier Speedy Pass, which again does not include Monster, but you save a whole lot of time on everything else at the park. Monster was prone to closing a lot in its inaugural year due to high winds, as the ride was a major valleying risk. Fortunately, I heard the park modified the wheels from 2017 onwards to allow the coaster to have more uptime. I have not seen this ride close for anything other than lightning in my visits, and my most recent visit took place on a fairly windy day that kept causing Storm Chaser to close. When you reach the end of the queue, seating is on a first-come basis. Most people will typically choose to fill in the front first for the unobstructed view. To me, the forces feel pretty much no different between the two rows. But if you have a preference, staff members will allow you to wait an extra train for your desired row. Honestly, what matters more to me is being on the end seats. The laterals are noticeably stronger there. Once it's your turn to board, you are restrained by just a lap bar. These are very snug, but comfortable. They are profiled in a way for you to fully experience the airtime, hang time, and laterals this coaster offers. And they eliminate the possibility of headbanging, which is an issue on several Gerstlauers with over-the-shoulder harnesses. On that note, I am pleased to say that Monster is glass smooth anyway. Gerstlauers are hit or miss in this area. Some track flawlessly, while others can have a really bad rattle. I am not sure why some are better than others, but it's always a treat when one is this smooth. I could re-ride Monster all day between the comfort and dynamic ride experience. Once dispatched, you roll forwards. You pause briefly at the base of the vertical lift, which looks even more imposing on ride. You then begin your climb skywards. This takes you to the ride's max height of 133 feet, or 41 meters. It's not ideal if the sun is directly in front of you, but you can get some interesting views of the park off to your side. Once you crest the top, you are treated to an incredible beyond vertical drop, and it was once a world record breaker. It reaches a max angle of descent of 101 degrees. For a few years, this was the steepest drop in the world not to have a trim brake. The only coaster with a steeper drop now and no trim brake is Defiance at Glenwood Caverns. Monster's drop is amazing. Since there's no trim brake, you are absolutely thrown over the crest. This offers fantastic ejector airtime. The ride tries to force you to stand up. This should be no surprise if you've ridden a Gerstlauer Eurofighter, but the airtime feels even more extreme on Monster, given its added size in the lap bar only trains. It is one of my favorite drops of any coaster. The pullout treats you to your max speed of 65 miles per hour or 105 kilometers per hour. But don't get used to that. Monster's pacing is a bit wonky. Monster is designed in a way that the train crawls over the apex of most elements. This could be problematic if you relate pacing solely to the speed of the coaster. I view pacing more as a level of engagement, and I love these slow elements. They offer some really creative hang time, both vertically and laterally. This is exemplified perfectly by the second element. It is a funky turnaround that feels like an inversion, even though it technically is not. The element has 2 bursts of forces. You get some nice floater airtime and a lateral jolt on the entry. Then you lean sideways and almost stall out at the apex. The descent then sharply twists left, which creates a second spurt of floater airtime and another good surge of laterals, particularly if you're on the right side of the train. I love how creative this element is. The pullout not only hits you with more speed, but it also lays on some decent positive Gs. Next is a finish loop, which is an element that was introduced on Junker Power Park in Finland. This element consists of a dive loop, followed by a vertical loop. These are the first 2 inversions of 5 on Monster. This dive loop offers a pop of airtime over the top and the front, and sustained floater in the back on the descent. But the laterals are far more noteworthy than the negative Gs. The 180-degree twist downwards abruptly throws you sideways. If you're sitting on the left side of the train, your entire body will be dangling over the edge of the train. It is amazing and feels completely unhinged. The pullout then blasts you with strong positive Gs, the best on the ride in my opinion. This leads directly into a vertical loop, but it is no ordinary vertical loop. The apex is flattened and stretched out, so the train hangs upside down for 3 to 4 seconds. This results in some insane hang time. Your full body weight is supported by just that lap bar. It's sort of freaky, but I love it. You then have the one part of the ride where you get a slight breather. The next 2 elements are fine, they just don't stand out like everything else. The train navigates what I've seen classified as another dive loop, but it feels more like an angled cutback. It's okay. It more or less just changes your direction while technically inverting you. It is mildly disorienting, but it is not large enough to offer hang time, and then it's too drawn out to levy the positive Gs. Next is a camelback. This only offers weak floater airtime. Gerstlauer is no stranger to throwing an ejector airtime hill onto their Eurofighters or Infinity coasters. So what exactly happened here on an otherwise intense ride? Well, remember how there used to be the Sky Ride? This hill had to clear it, which is why it's so tall and elongated. This hill could have been far more forceful had the Sky Ride never been there, but it at least offers some negative Gs. Monster then returns to form with an ultra-compact Immelmann. This is another element with a smorgasbord of forces. The inversion has some solid positive Gs in the entry. The 180-degree rotation has some whip. Then the exit offers some floater airtime. Then you hit my favorite trim brake in the world. Yes, you heard that right. I have a favorite trim brake. Usually, I hate these things. They take away speed, and usually they make the following elements tamer and less forceful. But Monster's trim actually enhances the experience. Let me explain. You see, it causes the train to take the following 2 elements with so little speed that you get spectacular hang time. This makes the finale. If you took this part with more speed, these elements would be fun, but not excellent. It starts with the stall turn. The apex is banked 90 degrees to the side, and the train takes its sweet time clearing it. So your body mercilessly dangles sideways. Imagine an RMC wave turn, but you're basically going through it in slow motion. It is arguably the best moment of lateral hang time on any coaster. It 100% is made by those freeing lap bar only restraints. It feels like you'll fall out the side of the train. This is followed by a super slow corkscrew. This offers more traditional hang time, but it's offered in droves. And if you've not been able to tell already, I love hang time, so it's no surprise why I'm such a big fan of Monster. You then gracefully jump into the brakes and return to the station, ending the 2,500 foot or 762 meter long experience. Monster has a nice overall length. It packs in plenty of elements. So what would I rate this coaster? I would give Monster a 9 out of 10. This is an excellent ride. I love how diverse it is. This applies both to the type of elements and how multiple elements offer a bizarre mix of forces. You start off with crazy ejector airtime on that first drop. Then, you have a series of turns and inversions offering a beautiful blend of positive Gs, negative Gs, laterals, and hang time, oftentimes simultaneously. This ride finds inventive ways to lift you out of your seat. The only cons are the poor throughput and that minor lull in the middle of the layout, but it otherwise is a wonderful coaster, and it's the main reason coaster enthusiasts should have Adventureland on their radar. This is easily the best Gerstlauer roller coaster in the United States, and it's one of their best creations worldwide. It may be the second best Gerstlauer after Schwerteskarnen at Hansa Park. I mentioned this ride earlier, but Monster is very similar to Junker. Both rides have similar elements, forces, and pacing. The biggest difference is that Junker starts with a powerful LSM launch and top hat, whereas Monster starts off with a beyond vertical drop. I think this is easily the best coaster in Iowa as of this recording. That could potentially change next year with Lost Island opening Fire Runner and RMC Raptor. This ride should be nearly identical to Stunt Pilot at Silverwood, which is a very good coaster, but it does not have the same ferocity as the two prototype Raptors in the Six Flags chain. So assuming Fire Runner runs like Stunt Pilot, Monster will remain my favorite coaster in the Hawkeye state. It's a more well-rounded experience start to finish, and the forces feel more out of control in my opinion, assuming you like wacky hang time like I do. So those are my thoughts on Monster at Adventureland. What are your thoughts on this coaster? Do you agree it's the best ride in all of Iowa? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there will be a lot more roller coaster amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.